You want it? Oh yeah, here we go. 3 minutes?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be getting the show on the road in 3 minutes. Grab your seat, take a seat. If you can find one, in 3 minutes we will start the show.
Have a series. Speakers from them. Okay. Oh. All right, everybody, take a seat. When you get a chance, take a seat. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Are we happy there are no more COVID restrictions? No more COVID restrictions? We got a little round of applause for no COVID restrictions? Yeah, okay. You are awake. Let me make sure everybody's awake out there. All right. Welcome to CryptoData's Decentralized Connectivity Redefined event. It is our hope today that we will motivate, inspire, and educate you to show you what we are currently doing in the present and what's possible in the future. So today we're going to have a series of various speakers who will talk about different technological fields, and they will present their innovative projects that will help you reimagine the connectivity between machines, technology, systems, and human interaction. So, with no further ado, let me bring up our first guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. A warm round of applause, please, for Mr. Andrei Stănescu. All right, Bradley.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It's amazing how many people have joined today to discuss about technology. First of all, thank you very much for the trust that you have in our company, and also for the trust that you have in our products, and of course, in our services. So it's 2022. What else can technology actually bring to the table? My name is Andrei Stănescu, as Howard mentioned, and I'm here to present how we envision tomorrow's technology. But before that, let me just quickly brief you on the history of the company. So it actually all began in 2013. We managed to become one of the largest mining data centers in Europe, which was spectacular, to be honest. We managed to implement some really innovative operational procedures so that we can offer blockchain solutions to people all around the world. And to be honest, everything scaled really, really quickly. And we thought, okay, blockchain is not equal to cryptocurrency. So honestly, it was quite intriguing. We noticed that we can start analyzing what actually blockchain is. And we went ahead and started learning about the methodology behind blockchain. There you go. We studied basically everything about blockchain in terms of how to scale it, how we can adapt it, all the possible use cases that you can use in real-life scenarios. So we basically learn by doing, which honestly I think it's the most important aspect whenever you want to learn a new concept, especially in a startup. So, of course, you know, there are many mature blockchains currently available on the market, let's say. But, you know, by studying them, we managed to see that all of them have issues. And by analyzing their issues, we were able to detect that, hey, maybe in this specific area, maybe we have an opportunity. So today, we develop a blockchain which is based on the studies and on the analysis that we've done in the past. And to be honest, this blockchain is meant to be perfected in a continuous way. It's meant to adapt basically to changing circumstances, because basically the world moves really fast. And basically this whole experience opened up a new perspective to many fields of interest, because, you know, blockchain has many characteristics. For example, it's decentralized, obviously, it's immutable, and also offers transparency. And basically by starting building technical solutions, we've managed to see the true potential of blockchain. Back in 2015, we began research and development to see some real use of blockchain, as I said before. And the first product that we actually delivered to the market was named, and is named, Voice over Blockchain Protocol. The main purpose of it is to design secure communication between peers in a network. And honestly, that was the moment in which we realized blockchain is amazing, and we can do amazing stuff together. But, you know, I'll go back to the cryptocurrency thing for just a tiny bit. I don't think blockchain can replace banks. Honestly, I think blockchain can enhance financial institutions for higher security and also maybe for lower costs. And so, what you can see here is the results of a small company founded by friends back, again, in 2013. And, you know, it was amazing because we managed to sell about 50,000 initial devices, which, again, it was amazing. And it helped us to basically rapid prototype and accelerate the whole research and development department, also from a hardware and also from a software perspective. And as you can see in the slide, we love technology. We love to apply technologies to many, many different areas of interest. At the moment, you can see that the portfolio of the company contains an encrypted laptop, smart devices, in this case, smartphones, and also bank of energy. The next products and services that we want to offer to the market will be presented by my colleagues, just in a tiny bit. So you may ask, okay, these are the devices, there are many devices, but how are they connected? What's the main purpose behind it? So let's talk about the future. This is Xiden. This is our integrated ecosystem for all of our smart devices. Talking about the Xiden blockchain core, because, again, in essence, Xiden is a blockchain. which means that it has all the characteristics of a blockchain. For example, it offers consensus, which means that the security and immutability of data is maintained. It also offers networking, which means that we basically ensure a secure connection between devices in the network. And last but not least, we offer the possibility to developers to build decentralized applications. Talking about Xiden, let's go into more depth. So the first phase of developing Xiden began in 2019, so quite a while ago. And honestly, the research and development process will continue because, as I said, Xiden is meant to go through a continuous process development. So, of course, there are many challenges along the way, and we basically need to adapt the technologies to changing circumstances. We gain a lot of experience just by trial and error, testing a lot of stuff. We analyze mistakes, and as I said before, we saw opportunities in the market. And obviously, everyone has a tendency to make this association between blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Well, we don't, because Xiden is a blockchain with two main utilities, which are real ones. It's not about cryptocurrency. So first of all, we have the Internet network layer, which is basically used to integrate and also connect smart electronic devices. Then we have the second layer of the blockchain, which is named Smart Distributed Resources Layer, which, in essence, imagine that you have some hardware resources. For example, CPU, GPU, RAM, disk, and many others. What if you use these resources to put them in a common pool so that others can use them in a decentralized way? And of course, the main purpose of the whole blockchain and of the whole, let's say, layering system is basically to protect user identity, first of all. Also, to bypass censorship, which I think is important in 2022. And last but not least, in my opinion, it provides a free, private, and also unrestricted access to the internet. Let's go into more depth. So remember, I said this is a two-layer architecture. We basically have the internet network layer, which is the first one. So let's go a tiny bit into details. So imagine this. Each network user basically has a hotspot connection open, right? Using a secure router, which is embedded into the blockchain. Good. Then the next step would be, if the hotspot is open, then it is publicly available for all devices which are being validated by the blockchain. So long story short, basically anyone within the range of a public hotspot can connect to a private and encrypted and secure network just by being validated by the blockchain. And of course, this can bring a lot of user benefits. Again, that's my opinion, and this is the technical stuff that we've done in behind. So, of course, it ensures connectivity to the internet, first of all. Diminution of censorship, as I've mentioned before. The third step, in my opinion, would be increased security and also privacy, which is, let's say, a really important factor when we discuss about CryptoData, our company. And last but not least, we want to ensure that there are less vulnerabilities in terms of cyber attacks. So we no longer have to worry about having compromised networks. So we've discussed about many smart devices. We've discussed about the blockchain. We've discussed about this really interesting interconnected network. So in my mind, this comes down to a main applicability, which can be a smart city, right? So many devices integrated, being able to communicate with each other, means that ideally, we can build a smart city concept. We can build, let's say, a smart country. Maybe we can also build a smart world. Just imagine, like, having sensors and having traffic lights and many other devices, like the participants in the traffic, reporting to the blockchain, and then the blockchain decentralizing this information. Remember, we've discussed about two layers. We've discussed about the first one, and now let's go to the second one, which again is the second utility of this really beautiful blockchain. So, as I said, CryptoData made a blockchain which helps also users, but also organizations to solve their issues. I see it, for example, as a bidirectional help. I see that everyone wins. So basically, both people which put resources into a resource pool and also the people which benefit from the resource pool have an advantage. And I'll go into more depth right now. So we came to the conclusion that technology evolves really, really fast, as you may know. The requirements also of the devices have grown really fast. By the way, we change our phones once every couple of years, so it's a fact. So just think about it. Everyone at home has a box of all devices, first of all, and second of all, you all have in your pockets a device which you don't fully use in terms of resources. So instead of wasting these resources, both for the old devices and the current devices, why we don't, for example, use our hardware capabilities in a secure and decentralized way? Just think that you can use these resources to also have some benefits. It's like, let's say, a clear example, it's like pouring a glass of water in a pool, and at the end of the day, everyone can benefit from it, like swimming during summer. You can ask, okay, what's in for me? Why should I put into play my hardware resources? Because it's an important question, of course. Well, their owners will receive rewards in XID. XID is the native token of this specific blockchain. Great. So having a blockchain with so many capabilities in this context, it means that we can provide multiple opportunities for developers all around the globe, which I believe is beautiful. They will be able to build their own applications. They will be able to provide services, and why not products, that can use hardware resources in a common pool. Of course, people and organizations can benefit from using neural networks. Computing power, as I said, they can build decentralized application, and everything will be maintenance-free and low energy. And talking about the community, because I think this kind of blockchain and these kind of capabilities can help us to build a beautiful ecosystem, not in terms of technical aspects, but also in human aspects. So the Xiden blockchain has been built to work with other blockchains as well, via bridges. And you know, my opinion is that there's no best blockchain. I think each blockchain has its advantages, and it's good at something very specific. And that's why I believe we should interconnect all blockchains so that we are able to give the most value to the end consumer. Of course, there has to be competition, but not to destroy your opponent, but rather to evolve with him and basically to push your boundaries. Of course, Xiden has multiple capabilities. We can build DeFi solutions. We can deploy smart contracts. You can build decentralized application, you as a community member. And also, you can mint NFTs. So Xiden will offer this beautiful opportunity to bring many people together with different kind of skills into this beautiful one ecosystem. So last but not least, quickly discussing also about XID. As I said, the Xiden blockchain uses XID as a digital transferable asset. Long story short, the network users will receive XID whenever they have their resources online. So basically, of course, they have some rewards in the whole context. So how can you receive specific XID? I'll just be short. You can validate devices, you can validate data, and you can validate transactions. Also, you can get rewards from people using your resources that you have allowed the pool to use. And of course, last but not least, you can get rewards from building decentralized applications. So, as a conclusion, and in my opinion, Xiden offers a really unique way to create amazing communities. I think we can learn from each other because we're all good at different things. And I think in this way we can succeed in developing amazing services and technologies. I would like to introduce now the next speaker of this afternoon. He has been the solution architect and project manager for one of the most important elements in the Xiden ecosystem. Let me present to you Andrei Buiu, cybersecurity expert here at CryptoData. Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you, Andrei, very much for the introduction. My name is Andrei Buiu. I work as a cybersecurity specialist at CryptoData. As Andrei previously mentioned, our company develops hardware and software solutions, and all of them are currently integrated into the Xiden ecosystem. Well, today I'm here, and I'm pleased to introduce a new device, one that plays a vital role in the Xiden blockchain, and it will offer our users several benefits, including protection against cyber threats. So I present to you the Minter router. The Minter router is a dual utility device falling under the smart distributed resource layer that Andrei was talking about earlier, and also is having eco-friendly features. The primary function, of course, is that of a router. As you can imagine, it fulfills the basic need of connecting people to the internet. It satisfies this main function, this main function, in a quick and easy way. But to be honest, I'm here to talk about the security features of the router. That's the bit that I think we added value. We decided to empower the user, a normal user, without previous IT knowledge or IT experience, to protect the identity of all connected devices through this router, to have encrypted communication channels, and also to add the possibility to bypass censorship. Of course, the whole idea was to do this in a friendly user manner. But nevertheless, of course, it wasn't an easy task, and securing the communication channels and protecting identities, it's a complex mechanism. As you can see on the slide, we integrated multiple architectures, Tor, VPN, and the matrix ID with the VOBP encryption protocol. I'm going to talk a bit about the technical sides. So the Spectralis network. When you connect a device to the router, any device, let's say a Hyder mobile phone or a BASP laptop, it is validated automatically by the other members of the network. After the validation, the device ID is converted into a matrix ID, which is a blockchain-generated identity. The communication between the devices now, it's encrypted through our Xiden blockchain. The most significant advantage is that the user can now go through spectral channels and access blocked geolocations. You cannot choose a specific device because this will hinder the security of the network, but of course, you can choose the location that you want to exit. So I'll give you a practical example that makes it more easy to understand. Let's say that an entity, a country, an organization blocks a website. Let's imagine google.com just for the sake of it. With our device, all the devices connected to it will be available to access Google and see it because they will look from a different geolocation. They will look like they're from a different location than they actually are. And as I said, this is quite easy to do with just a few clicks of a button. We decided to add an extra layer of protection by inserting an ad block module. Again, the ad block modules can block any ads that you currently see on the internet, including YouTube and including all pop-ups. Previously, I mentioned that the Mint router, it's a dual utility device. It also represents a validation method as a guardian node in our Xiden blockchain. So what does that mean? As you probably know, in every blockchain, there's a consensus mechanism, a set of functional rules for the system. Implementing these rules in a decentralized way through this integrated device. So the Mint router, in this case, has the role of validating the other devices in the system. Validation is confirmed when 66% of the devices are given a green light. However, it's also a smart device. So that means that all the computing power and the storage resources available in this router, they can be shared to the smart distributed resource layer. So you may ask yourself, okay, but it's just one router. Yes, but as a standalone device, maybe it does not bring much input. But if we imagine an entire network of devices, then we'll have sufficient resources. As Andrei previously mentioned, as an entity in the blockchain, the device is going to be rewarded for its work, meaning that you'll get XID tokens based on the number of validations, based on the number of other devices you have in the pool, and the amount of time you allocate as a resource in the network. This is just one component of the Xiden ecosystem. It's one of the essential devices in the blockchain, and it fulfills our users' need for daily connectivity and security. In my opinion, system interoperability is the key to success for long-term development. Thank you guys very much.
All right. Very nice, very nice. All right, keeping the show moving along. I always enjoy this next intro because I never know what to say. There's so much to it, you know, I got to make notes. So let me tell you a little bit about this gentleman. A brilliant, accomplished business leader with immeasurable experience in international business development and encrypted telecommunications. He had the vision and knowledge to guide the team at CryptoData through a process of constant growth. Under his leadership, CryptoData has achieved numerous milestones in the field of cybersecurity, hardware development, and telecommunications through constant innovation and by integrating the principles of security, scalability, interoperability across all of its projects. Now, if you can follow that, you're better than me. But ladies and gentlemen, at this particular time, let me introduce to you the CEO of CryptoData, the one, the only, the incomparable, Mr. Ovidiu Toma. Yeah, baby, come on. The man with the plan, ladies and gentlemen, the man with the plan. Are we waiting for that music to pick up so I can get a little... Give it a moment, here it comes, and... Woo! That's my brother.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, dear community, guests, business partners, supporting partners, team, engineers, development, businessmen, friends. I'm very excited to see such an amazing community here, such an amazing event. The DCR event 2022, it's all about technology. It's about Xiden. It's about the devices to be integrated within the Xiden ecosystem. Actually, it's been a long journey over the past 4 years. It's been a long journey engaging an amazing number of engineers, developers, automotive engineers, electronics, microelectronics, engineering components. It's been an amazing journey with ups and downs, but here we have it, the most awaited moment of our event today. There's no words to describe the feeling we have, there's no words to describe the amazing project we achieved, so I would kindly ask my colleagues to play a video. So, ladies and gentlemen, how do you like it? Momentum, our baby, our toy, our project for the past 4 years. Research, development, up to a fully functional electrical vehicle of the 21st century. Actually, it all started as a concept, as a drawing, as a sketch back 4 years ago. From a sketch, we started modeling a 3D model. At first, it was the idea of incorporating all the amazing technologies we developed here at CryptoData into one amazing electrical vehicle, a concept, a supercar. Starting from a sketch to a 3D model, to engaging engineers from various fields of activity, such as automotive, cybersecurity, microelectronics, mechanics, electromechanics. The vehicle was not built as a product for sale. We're not selling electrical vehicles at CryptoData. Actually, instead, the electric concept was built to promote, to present, to introduce, to test, to patent the innovative technologies we develop here at CryptoData, the revolutionary technologies we develop here at CryptoData that can be integrated into an electrical vehicle, into the automotive industry. Of course, each technology, each bit and piece is modular. Actually, we developed the project into a modular shape so we can apply our technology not only on our concept, but in the entire automotive industry. Xiden is a blockchain that integrates all these types of devices and helps them to intercommunicate in an automatic, autonomous, decentralized way. Momentum is a car with a highly complex system that supports all the Xiden functions, the integrated functions, the 2 layers previously mentioned by my colleague Andrei. The computer system transforms the vehicle into a smart device that can connect the vehicle, the car, to the Xiden network as well. Once integrated, the device can communicate and interconnect with other smart devices. Another important aspect of the Momentum concept car is the implementation of smart battery sharing concept. Actually, 3 years ago, we started working on the smart battery sharing concept. With shy steps, at the very beginning, we achieved what we call today the Bank of Energy project, which is a fully functional, real scale, for the moment running in Romania with over 800 distribution points, a concept of introducing the users to the idea of smart power bank, smart battery sharing. Of course, the Bank of Energy is a dedicated project for handheld devices, for smart devices, but the concept, the idea, the technology behind it can be implemented as well in the automotive industry. That's all about our project. That's what Momentum is about, actually. Currently, the world is facing one of maybe the biggest challenges of the automotive industry, which is the range and the charging time, actually. This way, Bank of Energy comes to fight this barrier of mass implementing the EVs in a real life, to shorten the charging time. Actually, not exactly to shorten, but to decrease dramatically the charging time by actually adding a power booster to your EV while going for a longer trip, so you cannot afford spending 12 hours in a charging station. From CryptoData's perspective, nowadays, EVs are smart devices that are not only used at their total capacity. As a primary function, cars, vehicles, give all the mobility and increase our ability to make our means. But for CryptoData, a car represents a golden fountain in terms of data collection as well. I'm not talking about the user profile. I'm talking about the type of data collection. I'm talking about the data in sense of processing and integrating the data in a complex mechanism, such as smart city, for example. Momentum meets new technological concepts as well. The electric car is modularly developed. That is the most important feature. Each part can be integrated, each sub-project, each concept, each patent can be integrated into various other autonomous electric vehicles for transportation, for logistics, for private transportation, such as private transportation devices, electric devices. Actually, we built momentum to demonstrate our company's capabilities and to open up new opportunities for technology developers in various fields of activity. The creativity of a diverse community is the way to evolve. Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to talk more about our project. I could talk a few hours about our project, but actually invite on a stage the COO of CryptoData, the head of engineering at CryptoData. I invite on a stage engineer Madeleine Nagu to tell us more about the technical capabilities of our momentum. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone. I am Madeleine Nagu, COO and Head of Engineering at CryptoData. First of all, I want to share with you the fact that this was the most challenging project in my career, and I think all members of the team involved in this project feels the same. It was an incredible project, a lot of work, hard work, but we did it. And for it, I want to thank them and to congratulate them. Please help me to congratulate them. They are among us here. They work a lot and they deserve it. They really deserve it. Further, I will share with you some technical features, insights of our electric concept car. Building an electric vehicle from scratch with all the different integrated technologies required an immense effort in terms of resource management. However, the experience gained from building this concept allowed us to better understand the requirements and barriers associated with this kind of project and helped us improve our operational capabilities in many other fields of activity. We must keep in mind that Momentum claims to be a genuine electric supercar, so it offers impressive adaptive performances. Depending by the circumstances, electric motors are very versatile. The car offers 3 different driving modes and a 4th additional custom mode. It can be used as a normal car for long-range trips. On the other hand, it offers enough fun to drive if you select sport mode, or it can give you an unforgettable experience on the track if the race mode is activated, believe me. Here in this mode, the external battery pack could be removed to decrease the total mass of the vehicle for the race fast laps. Also, you can have a fully custom settings, a fully custom vehicle that can provide up to 900 horsepower by adding in-front electric motor and whatever custom features you would like to. As my colleague Ovidiu mentioned before, Momentum was designed as a modular vehicle that can be upgraded easily. It represents a platform that can be used to test and implement new technological concepts, both hardware or software. The prototype in front of you has a tubular frame that meets our requirements in terms of performance, functionality, and adaptability, but we are currently studying a more performant version of carbon fiber monocoque chassis. Also, the Proto number 1 here has rear-wheel drive with an electric motor on the rear axle, but the chassis allows you to easily add the front electric motor make it a four-wheel drive vehicle, a proper example for the adaptability and potential, as I said, of the custom mode, offering incredible dynamic performances. But we believe that the key component which will help increase the pace of large-scale adoption of electric vehicles is the concept called smart battery sharing. How it works? We already are in this business for a while, smart battery sharing concept. One of its fundamental aspects is represented by user mobility. Nowadays, all our activities are conditioned by smart devices powered by electric energy. So, for CryptoData, the concept of smart battery sharing has two stages. The first stage is about the implementation of interchangeable batteries designed for smart electronic devices. We began to develop in early 2021, and it is still ongoing process at this time, expanding the network. It's called Bank of Energy. Probably some of you already know about this project. The second stage will be implemented this year within this concept car launch as an extension in automotive industry for the smart battery sharing concept. The concept applied for electric vehicles, I talk about smart battery sharing concept, requires installing additional battery modules which will provide a supplementary range up to 100 kilometers. You can see a maquette here in the rear side of our prototype of this system. This means that the user's mobility will cease to be conditioned by slow recharge times. The module must be easy accessible, handled by a single person, and it functions in a plug-and-play manner that facilitates a quick and smooth replacement. This way we have constant access to energy to keep up with our daily activities, of course. From my point of view, as an automotive design engineer, actually this is my profession, besides the difficulties regarding limited lithium resources, I think that a successful transition toward electric vehicle can only be achieved by eliminating the issue of constant wasting time to recharge. We can simply swap the discharged battery and with a charged one in less than a minute. This project proposes an important change in the industry. The concept of smart battery sharing does not solve the problem of long-distance travel. Still, it does provide the best solution when it comes to short-range, city-bound trips. Therefore, I consider that this project is an essential step for the automotive industry, which will lead to new research and development opportunities in the field of electric vehicles. Now, because I'm the mechanic, I will bring on the smart guy to explain you the technology on board our electric concept car. So, Felix Negoiță, I would like to invite you on the stage.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much. Thank you, Madeleine. I'm very excited to be here today. My name is Felix Negoiță, and as Head of Artificial Intelligence here at CryptoData, it is my great privilege and my great pleasure to talk to you today about some of the most exciting deep learning technologies that the Momentum platform was built for. At our Research and Development Division, we believe that the ubiquity of AI is a natural step towards our integrated vision of the future. Now, it is very tempting to dive deep into academic discussions concerning how the future of artificial intelligence will impact our societies. However, machine learning systems at scale are already performing incredible tasks and incredible automation in our computers, in our mobile devices, on our entertainment platforms, and even on the road. So let's take a look at our proposal for intelligent autonomous vehicles. Now, first things first, as our engineering efforts developed, we observed that everything we're striving to achieve can very neatly fall into one of three possible categories. So first off, we have optimizing for traffic, where, of course, we're interested in combining both algorithmic and learned pathfinding techniques with real-time data. Then we have, of course, developing safety behavior by letting the vehicle make decisions relative to its external environment that optimize our well-being. And perhaps most importantly, we have self-learning, the intelligent vehicle's ability to operate within the knowledge domain of its ever-expanding universe of internal representations. So since it all starts with learning, I propose we briefly review that aspect first. Now, it may not be obvious at first glance what we mean when we say learning in the context of a vehicle. For example, many aspects of our daily lives that we take for granted as humans turn out to be incredibly difficult to mathematically model and program machine-wise. For example, driving. Driving involves an intricate connection between our motor functions, image processing neurological pathways that reside in our brains, and the ability to make snap decisions by analyzing our environment and anticipating our fellow drivers. So it is thus a highly complex activity, which is probably why I failed my exam the first time around. But in order to have a machine achieve all of this, the process starts with data gathering, data science, and data engineering. The vehicle needs to work with three types of data simultaneously. First, it has to collect all possible representations of its external environment, such as, for example, video feed from its cameras, data from its proximity sensors, data from LiDAR, anything you can think of. Then, it has to keep an internal state of itself in order to be able to make decisions. So that includes anything you can think of, from what your current speed is right now to what the pressure in your tires is right now, for example. And lastly, we want to emphasize the importance of different types of ensemble learning. On the one hand, we want vehicles to be able to share their drive data with one another. This would create a distributed machine learning system where each node benefits from the knowledge of the network as a whole. Now, on the other hand, we envision it going a step even further than that. We envision it connecting the intelligent autonomous vehicles to other devices in real time so that it can learn from them as well. All of these complex AI systems working together will enable momentum to self-calibrate, self-adapt, and maximize the protection of its passengers. Now, you may be wondering, okay, so how does AI achieve all of this? Well, the images the vehicle captures are processed by deep convolutional neural networks which learn internal representations of real-world objects as vectorized features through an algorithm called backpropagation. This is, of course, done with supervised learning long before the car that you see in front of you today actually hits the road. However, the networks have to be pre-trained in order to analyze the images in real time. We also need a sort of a combination of deterministic systems on one hand and machine learning on the other hand for the AV to learn to control itself in its environment. Furthermore, data collected by all the vehicles, as I have previously mentioned, is fed into a reinforcement learning computer simulation whose job is to approximate a Q-learning function of the value of possible actions in a given environmental state. This is how the vehicles learn to drive per se, right? So, however, there's a catch here. As much as we want it, and I know we really want it, but as much as we want it, we are never alone in traffic. Driving is not an action we alone undertake in our environment. It is rather a complex set of interactions that we have with other drivers in that specific environment. So, here comes the problem. If by modern AI we mean the application of machine learning to specific problems, then in order to achieve the different levels of autonomy that we want from our self-driving systems, we need to introduce the meta-modeling of multi-agent systems, which is a generalization of artificial intelligence that describes the interactions between different actors. Although our use case is further complicated by the fact that our system contains a mixture of human agents and AI agents, we fortunately have the mathematical modeling of game theory to help us. It provides a framework within the largest theory of complex systems for choosing strategy and driving towards equilibrium. When the agents have chosen a strategy, they need not change, assuming, of course, the rationality of the rest of the agents. We say that our system has entered the state called Nash equilibrium. For example, this includes stopping at a red light and letting the other agents entering your intersection pass. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about safety behavior. Let's turn towards how the Momentum platform can implement these safety behaviors and what we mean by them. We can use the growing interconnectivity of our digital world to communicate with other devices for a better understanding of our surroundings. The more data the system collects, the easier it will be to minimize the risk of accidents in the decision-making process. Autonomous vehicles that are connected to a shared network and to one another can, quote-unquote, see themselves much sooner than the human visibility field would allow, thus helping avoid unpleasant incidents. Furthermore, as we have previously mentioned, by combining the modeling of game theory with reinforcement learning, we can tell the AI agent to optimize safety strategies by assigning to them a higher utility function within the reward paradigm of reinforcement learning. Cool. Now, there's one thing missing though. We want an intelligent vehicle that by collecting and analyzing the data from your driving is able to model your unique style and to adapt to it, helping the human-AI interface achieve a joint decision. For example, by better understanding that your style is more aggressive, the AI can help anticipate and implement the optimal safety-related maneuvers given the circumstances of your present environment. And now, as Steven Pinker said in his last book, he pointed out that human deciders do not have the luxury of analyzing immense amounts of data and optimizing them before taking a spur-of-the-moment action. They must instead suffice with an alternative that seems something like good enough to them in that split second of a decision. And intelligent AVs, fortunately, can help us change all that. Of course, we want to be able to perform as good as possible in traffic. So we need dedicated intelligent systems for this aspect of Momentum alone. What we call the Traffic Optimizer module represents a series of machine learning-powered analysis. Pathfinding algorithms from graph theory help us determine what the best way to navigate the city is. But by incorporating real-time data from other devices and other AVs, we are able to predict congestion, we're able to calculate alternate routes, we are able to suggest optimal traveling times. It's the intercommunication between the vehicles themselves, which, as I mentioned, is extremely helpful for safety, but however, it can help us, as we have seen, create a more fluid traffic flow and avoid the unpleasant aspects such as the phenomenon of phantom brake. Thank you so much for listening to this topic that I'm very passionate about. I will now invite on the stage the one, the only, the legend, Mr. Howard Dell. Thank you so much.
Stop it. All right. Ciao, brother. I'll take the, bro. Yeah, I'm going to give that to him. Thanks, brother. All right, back again. Okay, if I could have your undivided attention just for a moment. If I could get everybody, could I get everybody to stand just for a moment, please? Just could I get you to stand up? Just run a little something by you, please. Immense amount of pride. Ladies and gentlemen, Romanian designed, Romanian built. Can we have a round of applause just for the car one more time? Hi, Romania. That's all I wanted. Just a little something for this beautiful vehicle. Thank you. All right. We can sit down now. Sit down. Get some dance steps, get a little fitness class up here. Okay. It is now my privilege to introduce another gentleman, our special guest, a renowned engineer and Silicon Valley entrepreneur. He is the inventor of multiple patents and one of the original founders of Tesla Motors in 2002. Through his activity, he brought major contributions to the automotive industry by reinventing the electric car as a desirable and competitive alternative to the internal combustion engine. After his departure from Tesla in 2007, he continued his career in the automotive industry as the director of electric vehicles at Volkswagen and is currently part of multiple boards of directors and advisory boards for several Silicon Valley startups. Our special guest, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together, show some love for Mr. Martin Eberhard. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me. It's great to see new players in the EV revolution, and it's great to look where the EV future is going. For a change, I'd like to spend a few minutes and tell you a little bit about the EV past. I'd like to show you a little bit how the EV revolution started. It started with this car, the Tesla Roadster. So, we started off not looking to make electric cars, but rather to solve this problem. In 2002, there were almost 1 billion cars in the world, and predictions are 2.4 billion cars by 2050. And it seemed clear even then that we just can't power all those cars with oil. It just can't be done. Okay, so if not oil, then what? So again, I didn't start off looking to make electric cars. I wanted to make a car that just didn't use fossil fuels or used a lot less. So I looked at every kind, all of the different possible ways you could power a car, and I looked at them this way. What is the resource consumption for each of these technologies per kilometer? And the conclusion, of course, that I came to was that electric cars are the best choice. I'd like to walk you through that thinking a little bit, just to show you how we did it with one example. Are electric cars really better? So if we took a pretty good gasoline-powered car, 9 liters per 100 kilometers, and we know what is the energy content of gasoline, and we know what is the conversion from crude oil to gasoline. And from this, we can calculate that this car will use about 1,000 watt-hours of crude oil energy per kilometer driven. The best you could do in 2002 was, with a hybrid car, was maybe 670 watt-hours per kilometer. If you compare that to an electric vehicle, let's just say we power an electric vehicle using electricity that's made from the worst coal-fired power plants in the world. Okay, we know the electric vehicle uses about 155 watt-hours per kilometer. We know the efficiency and the energy content of coal, and this is a pretty crummy coal-fired plant. It's 29% efficient. That vehicle is still equivalent to a gasoline car, but we can do better with a modern coal-fired power plant. This is only 489 watt-hours per kilometer. And of course, natural gas is even better. So if you stack it up, what you see is that the best you can do with gasoline is just about the same efficiency as the worst you could do with an electric car using fossil fuels. If we try a little bit harder, either with a modern coal-fired plant or with natural gas, the electric car is dramatically better. And of course, for electric cars, you don't need to use fossil fuels at all. And as an example, I'll show you this. This is my car, and that's the solar panels on my roof. All right? And that panel powers my entire house and my car. So just as an example, my electric bill every month is about $11 per month. Okay, so the conclusion was that electric cars really are the best choice. So what was going on in the world? In 2003, no car companies anywhere in the world were making electric cars. And there was two things that everybody knew about electric cars. First, they're dead, and second, they suck, right? That's what everybody knew. And why was that? Well, because this is what people thought electric cars were like, right? They're awful. They're not the kind of car anybody wants to drive. Right? Electric vehicles didn't appeal to car buyers, right? What appealed to car buyers were these, sports cars like this, right? It's exact opposite of what the electric cars that came before looked like. EVs were not sexy. Okay. Another conclusion, of course, is that past EVs were really, really low-tech, the exact opposite of what you see sitting in front of you. They were simple lead-acid batteries, simple DC motors. Often they're just converted gasoline cars, or even worse. So the number one radical idea behind Tesla was to revive the EV by making a real sexy sports car instead of what had been made before. This had never been done. And that's what we set out to do when we started Tesla Motors. This is half the company right here. The other half of the company was holding the camera. Yeah. And so I'll walk you through some of the early challenges we ran into as we're learning how to create a car company. And the first, as I mentioned, was that the public perception of EVs was terrible. The next big thing we ran into is that the entire automotive industry is not made for small car companies. All of the equipment, all of the manufacturing processes, everything was made for either really, really high volume or one-off single, like, race cars. And related to that, suppliers just don't want to sell to small car companies. And the worst was, for me, was the airbags. The airbag suppliers said to me, the number of airbags you want to buy is like a prototype run for us, and the liability for us is just not worth it. So it took every single safety component was an argument with a supplier to get them to provide these parts. Somewhere in the early stages of Tesla, it started to become clear that the claims of safety that the manufacturers of lithium-ion batteries were telling us were not true. That we had these spectacular laptop fires. Maybe some of you remember these. And it caused us to think a lot harder about how to make a battery pack safe. Vehicle validation, especially crash testing, is crazy expensive. Every one of these crash cars that we built cost us about $350,000. And that was 20 years ago. So here's some of the things that we did to make Tesla happen, starting from that background. First of all, we designed it, as I said, as a real EV sports car. We engineered the Roadster for performance from the beginning. We designed it to look like a sports car. That's a clay modeler building, this pre-CAD, right? The next radical idea was to use commodity lithium-ion cells. to power the car. These are the kind of cells, the exact kind of cells that were being used in laptop computers and were being used in camcorders. And this seemed insane. Instead of 4 cells in your laptop, we had nearly 7,000 cells in the car. But the reason we did that is because at that time, there was no such thing as an automotive lithium-ion battery, right? This is what was being mass-produced. The next radical idea was to use a DSP-controlled AC induction motor. This is a high-tech drivetrain. And by the way, the AC induction motor was invented by Nikola Tesla. This is why I named the company Tesla, was for this reason. In the beginning, it was not possible for us, in our small group of Silicon Valley engineers, to design the rest of the car, the suspension, the safety systems, the bodywork, and so on. So we partnered with Lotus in the UK because they had a history of already doing consulting work to other car companies. And they made a car that was already street legal for sale in the US, so the safety systems of that were carried over for our car. So the first thing we did is we took a Lotus and tore it to pieces and turned it into a mule for our car. This was kind of fun. We took a brand new Lotus car and took a Sawzall and cut it up and turned it into our car. It was the first cut was difficult. We opened an outpost office both at Lotus in the UK and also in Detroit that allowed us to hire about half of our team from the auto industry. So we had this blend of engineers from Silicon Valley and engineers from the auto industry. And it was definitely a management task to get these two teams to work together collectively, and we did. We built, staffed, and funded a real battery research and development lab and learned how to build these battery packs with 7,000 cells in them. And we built a factory to build these battery packs. Similarly, we figured out how to make our own motors, and we built a factory to make our motors. It's expensive, and I was not a rich guy, so we raised a lot of money from other people. You might recognize that guy, our first large investor, who now is the CEO of the company. But it worked. The 2007 Tesla Roadster broke all records for electric cars, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.9 seconds and a range of well over 200 miles. And in contrast, no electric vehicle had been made before that could even do 100 miles range. So in 2003, the electric car was declared dead. And 2003 is the year that we founded Tesla to revive the electric car. By 2017, all major OEMs were again, or finally, selling electric cars. And today, we're at the point where EVs are almost the same price as a comparable gasoline car. I think it's a couple of years and it'll be actually cheaper to buy the electric car than the gasoline-powered car. So I want to put this slide up. This is a slide from my old slide deck from 2005. And I used to put this up in the US and say the need to get off of fossil fuels was an issue for both ends of the political spectrum. And I would put this up and say, one of these pictures, this is Al Gore, of course, and his climate change, and Condoleezza Rice and her concerns about national security. And I said, you probably relate to one of these pictures, and the other one pisses you off. And it doesn't really matter which one. Both of these are good reasons to switch from fossil fuels to an electric car. And I just as a point here, this is the same slide, just different pictures. I think that these issues are, if anything, more important now. Global warming is more obvious, and the national security issues with buying our large quantities of our fuel from other countries is dangerous. So, as I say, for increasingly obvious reasons, we really must break our fossil fuel addiction. And the good news is, EVs are actually better anyways. So, with that, I say, mulțumesc. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Students.
Awesome. I'll take that. All right. Well, thank you, Martin. I learned a lot of things that I did not know about Tesla right there. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have another CEO, another brilliant mind. I'd like to bring up the CEO from Prisma Analytics, Sebastian Poch. Oh, here's my man coming up now. What's up, brother?
No.
All right, man. Good.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Do you need this? Yes. Okay.
Restart it, please. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sebastian Perch, and I'm the CEO of Prism Analytics. First of all, I would want to thank you, the community, for being part of this fantastic journey so far. But I would also want to thank our developers, our team from Prism Analytics, as well as our colleagues from CryptoData for their strong partnership, their collaboration, and their professionalism they've been showing during this journey, during this development of the Xiden project. As you may already know, we are fast approaching to the public launch of Xiden, 29th of March. And therefore, I want to announce today the next steps regarding the direction of our development to you. So what did we achieve so far? We built the Xiden project, which consists of 4 layers. We have the data collection and processing layer, we have the storage and labeling layer, we have the interpretation and display of data layer, as well as the data authentication and validation layer. After we finished those 4 layers and the Xiden system by itself was working, we had a very, very hard decision to make. And that decision was actually which blockchain are we basing it on. Therefore, we started to analyze various blockchains, such as Ethereum, such as Polygon, Cosmo, or even Solana. What did we analyze them from? Well, that's very simple. We actually were looking for a blockchain that combines a variety of needs. We have a need for security. We have a need for interoperability. We have a need for validation times. We have a need for a lot of validations. We have a need for low cost per transaction. We have a need for adaptability. And we have a need for developer support, integration, maintenance, as well as blockchain utility. So, well, unfortunately, we didn't find the perfect match until we got introduced to Xiden. Xiden is a blockchain built by CryptoData. So, the Xiden blockchain by CryptoData is actually a decentralized infrastructure that offers us a huge potential for our project. And I will tell you or explain you why in the next slides. So Xiden actually brings us a smart distributed resource network covering computing power infrastructure, storage capacity infrastructure. It facilitates app development and data connectivity, and it is able to connect our information via decentralized databases. Why do we need that? Well, our Xiden system has approximately 65,000 data sources. And while it processes those 65,000 data sources, it reads about 130,000 news articles every single day. So that kind of gives you a glance about how much data is being processed, how much performance it actually needs. So this performance is not easy to transfer on a blockchain. However, we made it, and I'm proud to announce that we will use the Xiden blockchain for this task. The C+8 technology that processes any kind of data, as you know, will enable us to produce one application after the other in order to be able to analyze the 8 core elements of our system. Meaning again, we have a big need for scalability, processing power, and the storage of decentralized databases, which we actually found in Xiden. From our news articles, we extract about 22,000 entities, which sums up to an entity file, simple log file, of about 50 gigabytes every month. If you convert this to money in terms of cost, we actually gather so much data that we have a system that in the end needs about $100,000 cost just to be able to process the whole data that's on there, right? And that number is unfortunately rising very quickly. So in order to cover that cost, we will obviously have users and we will charge per search. However, it's also our need and aim to reduce that cost. So using Xiden, we will be able to not only reduce the cost per search, but also the fees for processing and validation of the single blockchain transactions. So through the analysis of all of those elements like costs, needs, and so on, we together with Patent Pool Group and our colleagues from CryptoData finally came to the conclusion to implement Xiden on the 29th on Xiden. And due to that fact, and due to the help of CryptoData and our development team, we can actually make you one very nice present for the first month after our launch. So we will come out with Decision Point S&P 500 application, as well as a special designed crypto application from Decision Point. So you can not only analyze stocks, but also cryptos with these applications. And the present is you as a community, as a Xiden community, will actually have the opportunity to use both of those apps for 1 month for free. For the future, we decided to develop a decentralized Xiden blockchain application that will allow users to even integrate data and their own sources so that the C+8 technology evolves towards the modern Library of Alexandria. But how would that look like? How does the next generation library look like? And I hope my computer got started now. Can you please switch? Okay, perfect. So, sorry for the short delay. It's always, if you present something live, it's always tricky. So what I'm showing, what I will show you now is our new Q-Search application that actually combines all advantages from Xiden as well as from Xiden into our C+8 system. So in order to be able to have a look into our DFO network of information, we will offer our clients, and of course you, this Q-Search application. So once you start the application, you have this search panel here that actually gives you all 8 C+8 categories. And if you put, for example, Bill Gates here in as person, and you press the search button, then it immediately opens a 3-dimensional knowledge network consisting of the search. You can play around with it, you can hover through it, and it actually gives you, for the first time, an insight into our DFO structure, where you can see how the different DFOs are interconnected to each other. So I give you an example. If you click here, if you click on the DFO, it gives you the main information here, and then you can also have a look at the sources that actually lie behind that information in terms of the articles that will be displayed. In the future, you will also have multiple functionalities regarding sorting and filtering. So you can, for example, sort by topic, or you can also sort by the C+8 functionalities. So be ready for the knowledge revolution, and the access to the tree of knowledge will be available via Q-Search in the summer of this year. Thank you very much. As the next speaker, I want to announce my good friend, long-term co-worker, and the brain behind the C+8 technology, our inventor, Dr. Hardy Schlör.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you. My presentation will be very short. And before I started, I just want to say one thing. That vehicle down here that is in front of you, to put that engineering task together, chapeau to Ovidio Toma, unbelievable. I have a long history in interacting with automotive projects. I can tell you to put that vehicle down here is an amazing job, especially with the technology that it is connected to and that it will represent. So what I'm talking about is the Knowledge Vault. And the Knowledge Vault is nothing other than a huge depository of information. And that by itself is not so exciting to talk about. Sebastian mentioned some numbers in how much information is in the Knowledge Vault. In the future, please never pay attention to these numbers, because these numbers are going up so rapidly every day, every week, every month, that the numbers are meaningless. We will have billions of sources. We will have hundreds of exabytes of information. And a lot of it, thanks to blockchain, will be in stream and will be used in stream. And what do I mean with this? Since we have an automotive example here, let's stick with automotive. What do we actually mean with information that is being used in a qualitative and quantitative way? Every one of you probably knows the systems that we have all in a car that help us to guide through cities. Well, the most successful became Waze. Why? Overnight, Waze was a huge success because Waze actually allows bidirectional information. Waze actually allows that we are understanding there's a policeman, there is rain, there is an obstacle in the road. Waze allows to report that back, and it's immediately integrated for all the others to use that information. You use it every day. What we here proposing is nothing else but creating a global Waze for absolutely every industry, for absolutely every occasion, application, and run it on blockchain. So the important element here is that what a user can do, a car can do, a refrigerator can do, any device can do. Obviously, we all know that the internet now begins to connect every aspect of life, every technological element through the internet. So for example, when you drive along in the car and you turn on your windshield wipers, there's no reason why your car couldn't report that to the blockchain. And when in a particular area, suddenly hundreds of people start to turn on the windshield wiper, we can safely assume there is rain in the area. And that doesn't even have to go back all the way to the knowledge vault. That can be used as in-stream information quantitatively and qualitatively to immediately be served back. Of course, we retain a copy in the knowledge vault so that we have history, but that's basically how it works. It's a very, very, very simple process. So in the future, there will be millions of applications that we are connecting through this blockchain process with the knowledge vault. What the knowledge vault connects and collects is absolutely everything that is digitally reachable. I have spoken about that many times before. And in essence, because it is such a brilliant project that is put together here by this whole community, we are now hosting the Knowledge Vault inside the United Nations Foundation for the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So we can only hope that in the future, everyone is going to be using these tools to make it a more sustainable and functional world, that high-tech is not only giving us things that we can use to shoot at each other, but actually things to make life safe, clean, and beautiful for all of us. Thank you very much. Mr. Bell.
Hardy, I'm ready. Great job, my friend. Awesome. Right. Okay, we're still going. Hopefully everybody is still awake. Listen, my next guest I'd like to bring up is going to discuss with you the relationships between technology and ecology, and give you her insights on the Eternity Tree program. So, with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring up the dynamic Emanuela Mitria. Oh, look at you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all for still being here. My name is Emma Mitra, and I'm the CMO of CryptoData, or the big sister of the team since the very beginning. I have the great honor to introduce to you one challenging project, not more challenging than the car, but challenging from its purpose, for which was made, which is the climate change, but we'll bore you later with that issue. Decentralized Connectivity Redefined event is about technology and about means of optimizing costs and environmental effects. I'll cover the environmental part because my team earlier covered the rest. I believe it's important to link technology with ecology, as the excessive use of energy resources has a huge negative impact of the environment. One of our main purpose is breaking limits in technology-based projects, but in a safe and sustainable way. You know, the best out of the both worlds. Today, I'm going to introduce to you a different approach of the blockchain applicability, a project that is focused on community, sustainability, beneficial for every living creature and for future generations. The sweet spot where technology meets ecology, ladies and gentlemen, meet eternity. What is eternity? Eternity, we believe, and we like to believe, is the perfect match for those who wish to own a qualitative token while helping solve one of the top issues impacting climate change. Its secret being, obviously, like the success of every project we ever developed, its community involvement and its community presence to every single milestone we had so far. But, moreover, besides the community, we have the fast blockchain. But we'll talk about it a little bit later. I was going to present to you a small, short story about how we got here, why we need climate movements, why do we need to protect these environmental issues. But in brief, probably everybody knows, the awareness is everywhere. So I'm going to skip this part. In short, trees give us oxygen. If we plant trees, we have more oxygen. If we cut them off, we are lacking oxygen. So I'm not going to continue with that. But during the lifetimes, trees act as carbon vaults, something in common with everything we have so far. So Eternity is a blockchain project with actual real-life usability. Now, we'll cover the reasons we believe one should get involved in our project. And no, unfortunately, money doesn't grow on trees, because you know what we all should be doing. But it surely can help plant them. So, every tree counts. For those who don't see from the back, I'm going to read it for you, but in brief. The loss of trees and vegetation leads to climate change, deforestation, increased soil erosion, and fewer crops. The second reason why should one invest in this type of project is the technology development. The third would be the improved environment quality. And the one I cannot emphasize enough is the reduced CO2 footprint we all live throughout our lives. And the last but not least, the reduced air pollution. Eternity is a project that aims to reduce emissions by launching a carbon-neutral, decentralized, and cryptographically secure infrastructure. And how does it work, you might wonder? Do you need to be really, really tech-savvy in order to be part of this type of projects? Well, no. It takes you only 4 steps, and probably you can see all of them from your seat. The first step is to find and select a location. We have a geomap location where you can pick out of your favorite, be it based on the most affected areas or be it the one closer to your soul, like your hometown area, for example. Second is select your tree, obviously. As you cannot plant any tree everywhere, you have a bunch and a variety of trees you can choose from. The third step, and probably the simplest step and most important, is plant the actual tree. But don't worry, we're not coming for you. We are going to take care of it. If you have invested in this project, we have a community of people, and we're bringing a lot more that could take care of this issue. But most of them, what do you know, are actual owners, not just, random people. They actually have a eternity in their vault. And 4, which is the most obvious, convert your tree into digital asset that is owned solely by you, their buyer. That's it. You don't have to learn anything, you don't have to code, you don't have to understand blockchain because we get it. Through Eternity platform, its users have the possibility to purchase 1 or more trees from the variety of the types. It's like you choose your character to be the planet's best player. As stated earlier, each purchased tree will be planted at the sole discretion of the owner. You decide what and where, as they are capable to choose not only the location, but which type of tree to plant. To go more in-depth with the blockchain, but I swear I'm not going to go too far, we are covering the following aspect. If blockchain isn't your cup of tea, which I get it, maybe it's your type of tree. Each of them eternity purchased is transformed into a token on the blockchain, which will contain the following information. Its location, we've mentioned earlier, in case you didn't catch it the trillion times I've mentioned. The tree type, that character you choose to fight the climate change with. The owner's details, like their name, nickname, or spy name. A personalized message you choose, like John and Karen sitting in, no, I'm not going to, but you can choose whatever message you feel. And the obvious timestamp. Amongst the benefits of owning an eternity token, we've identified 4 of the most obvious ones. As trees can outgrow us because they can live longer, like we have 100, 200, 300 years old in medium. That's a joke. Nervous. As trees can outgrow us and our attachment to things, the token is transferable, whether you want to pass it to future generations or to gift it to a dear one. And bright side for those with commitment issues. One can also transfer not only the asset, but also the ownership. And mostly because we mentioned sustainability and less pollution, the 2 most needed benefits are its blockchain, speed, and costs. Being on a fast blockchain with low trading costs reduces the unpleasant high gas fees encountered on other blockchains. Now, there's another category of users that may not want to use the transferable quality, and I'll tell you which one is it. It's the generation in a constant search for stimuli, or the players mentioned earlier. Well, like a game, a sales dashboard, or a diet, just to make sure I have the attention of the entire audience, there are bits of dopamine released every time we hit milestones over milestones. Well, same here. The idea of planting trees sounds nice. It makes you feel better about yourself, somehow conceptually, but actually being able to follow the impact you're making through your actions and be competitive with it, with yourself, your friends or strangers, or just to keep yourself accountable, brings everything to a whole nother level. And not just for the sake of reaching levels, but for the sake of being a good human being. Well, the platform offers multiple features and is developed with gamification approach to support exactly the mentioned behavior earlier. Each of you will be able to track its impact. For example, as you can see, there can be found data about the air quality, saved and protected wildlife and fauna, and the quantity of wood, just to name a few. Like in a game, For a boosted start, the company planted a tree for each sold device ever. Ever, which means more than 100,000 trees planted for all the devices. Just for a heads up. Moreover, our company implemented a new approach for the Eternity project. Each new project device receives an Eternity token. Therefore, we continue to plant trees for each future sales as well. Second, the development strategy of this project is based on the communities involved in discovering affected areas and actively reforesting them. That's why, once an owner of CryptoData device, now the owner of the world's forests. Sorry. We hope this initiative inspires our members, our communities, our partners to join us in this following period of time with Eternity Project. In the meantime, to all of you watching us, don't forget to check if you are one of the 20 lucky winners of the giveaway we launched this time. That means, yes, we plant trees for those 20 devices as well, so we plant trees for every single one of you that took the time to be with us together, both online and both here in person in Bucharest. Therefore, welcome to the community and welcome to the Eternity platform. Before leaving, I'd like to thank you all of you for being here with us, thank our community, and thank my team for making everything possible. But remember, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. But the second best time to plant a tree is now. Thank you. Now I'd like to invite our special guest and our special speaker. Thank you.
All right. Whew, high five, baby. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Well, we got a semi-special event here. We've got, we're going to do a little, we're going to set up for a Q&A. We're going to invite for our Q&A CryptoData CEO. We're going to invite Martin and Sebastian. So I will be the moderator, and we're going to set that up for you right now. Let me just see who's bringing what out here. We got 3 chairs coming. 3 chairs coming. And gentlemen, could I have that, when you have an opportunity, could I get that table right here, gentlemen? All right. I feel like a little far away. Let me just, can we bring that, let's bring, oh yeah, right. Oh, that's better, okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, may I bring up first and foremost our CEO for CryptoData, Ovidio Toma. Silicon Valley entrepreneur, gentleman extraordinaire, Mr. Martin Eberhard. And of course, the CEO of Prisma Analytics, Mr. Sebastian Poch. And he'll be coming up here. And come on now, let's go. I don't know. Do I have to wear my glasses for this one? I might have to. Yes, what do you think? Yes, no? Yes, no? For the glasses? Does it ruin the look, or are we okay? Oh, thank you. I get one. I get a little pause over there. You know? I get some love. Thank you for the love. Thank you. All right, you know. Okay, gentlemen. This first question we have is 2-part. What are the most significant barriers/difficulties encountered in developing electric cars is the first question. That'll be open to all of you. And then being one of the most prominent figures in the electric automotive industry, when do you project electric vehicles will outperform internal combustion engines? And I think that's Martin's going to handle that one. So, gentlemen, first, what are the most significant barriers encountered in developing electric cars? Who wants that one?
I'll take that one. I think the most significant barrier today is simply public perception of what an electric car can be. The concern about driving range and, will it go far enough and can I charge it? Once you own an electric car, you realize that this is really not a problem.
Okay. Anybody else want to throw a little?
Actually, in my opinion, the most, the difficulties you're encountering while developing the EVs, in our opinion, is first of all the infrastructure. Mm-hmm. Secondly, the technical limitations of the current energy storage solutions. Okay, I admit there might be plenty of experimental ways of storing energy in a very, very compact way. And actually, even yesterday evening, I had a brief chat with Martin regarding a few projects, amazing projects developed worldwide by certain entities and individuals. But unfortunately, neither the raw material is available at an affordable cost, or the technology of industrial manufacturing is not yet, I would say, mature enough to manufacture wide-scale storage solutions. And in my opinion, as a former engineer activating in the green energy field, energy storage is at its very beginnings right now. Okay, we know there's handheld pocket batteries in the past. We've had batteries for regular vehicles, for the startup, okay, power batteries, but not in-depth discharge batteries for long-term storage. So infrastructure, I would say, is the biggest difficulty. Secondly, development of storage and the weight of the current storage, because there's a balance all the time. Whether you add more battery packs to the vehicle, you make it weight a lot more, so then you lose a lot of traction, you lose a lot of power, you need a lot of current to make it run, so then it's for nothing to add so many batteries if you waste it with more consumption. So I think these two subjects are, in my opinion, the biggest challenges. On top of that, also the mentality of the consumers. EV consumers, the drivers, the owners, they're still used to drive a diesel car, just because it's more easy to maintain sometimes, easier to fuel. Sometimes it takes you like 45 minutes to fuel up, 45 seconds to fuel up your car, and you're good to go. And most likely the comfort and that feeling of, I was used with this. I was used to hear an engine, to hear an exhaust, to go racing without issues, and to be able to repair it, to maintain it in a corner shop. Whether on an EV, it's a little bit more complicated.
Of course, your gasoline engine has about 150 moving parts, and your electric vehicle has just one. So the maintenance is much, much less. No smog checks, no oil changes. But yeah, but I think that, you know, I think that the energy storage field will continue to improve. We'll get more energy dense and cheaper, and maybe we'll have some portion of our battery be swappable, as you suggest. I think all of these are good, but I think we're already to the point where they're easier to drive. I mean, if you think about the charging infrastructure, I charge my car at home, and I never charge when I'm out driving because I don't drive more than 200 miles a day, right? And I also do own a gasoline car, which is the old junker car that I leave at the airport when I travel, for example. And this one is the one I have range anxiety about because I need to go someplace to get petrol for it, whereas my electric car is fully charged every morning when I get up. So the amount of time it takes me to charge my car is actually 10 seconds. I come home and I put the charger in.
Indeed, that's, I would say, the best approach. It takes me exactly 10 seconds to charge my car. We have to learn that and actually exceed the barrier and go over the barriers of the of the EVs and implement the EVs.
It's a perception thing, for sure. Yes.
Excellent. Sebastian, do you want to weigh in on that one?
Well, I mean, aside the construction issues that you mentioned and the usability, I think the next big thing for electric cars and cars in general will be the AI component for autonomous driving.
I think not just for autonomous driving, but for even advanced safety systems within cars. I think the AI-based advanced safety systems will take over before we have full autonomous cars. Just make us all better drivers.
Excellent.
Hopefully.
Martin, being one of the most prominent figures in the electric automotive industry, when do you project electric vehicles will outperform internal combustion engines, or do you predict that they will?
Well, when you say outperform, I mean already electric cars are faster.
True,
my car
true.
Already,
that 0 to 60 sort of hurts.
My car outperforms most cars already, and this is a 10-year-old electric car now.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but in terms of cost outperforming, I think we're a few years away. I think we're very close to the point where the electric car is just cheaper.
Excellent. Okay, gentlemen, next question. What do you think about the level of maturity of the self-drive technology? And when do you think we can truly rely on the self-drive technology in order to be 100% safe?
If I go first, I'm cranky on this subject, so maybe you guys should go first.
I would take this one, actually. So first of all, I would say 100% security when it comes to computers will never exist. And I mean it. Of course, as random in computing is not actually random, it's a pseudo-random. The same with the security. 100% security is actually a pseudo 100% security. So this being said, autonomous driving, in my opinion, okay, it exists. It exists for like 8 years now, thanks to what Martin built in his career. But in the end of the day, it's all about relying on it. Because autonomous driving is implemented by most of the manufacturers. Is it reliable on a long-run drive? Not exactly, for the moment. Technology still needs to adapt, still needs to evolve. Hardware needs to evolve. Shortly, we'll probably go to 7 nano chipsets, and then we might have a lot more wide opening for AI on board, because also AI is resource consuming. In an electric vehicle, for the moment, it's kind of hard to fit that much computing power you might need to process everything you might think about in order to get close to 100% secured. And let's not forget the risks of integrating the EVs and the normal vehicles, the regular petrol vehicles, the combustion engines, integrating them, and the more they get smarter, the more issues you might have in terms of security, in terms of, let's take an example, for example. Imagine you're in the future, in the next 10 years, and the car is about to pick up your kid from school and bring him home. But what if that car is hijacked, is hacked? What if the software is virused? And you get a ransomware to see your kid at home. That's a real issue. It might occur, even though it looks science fiction. Ransomware exists.
Right.
For a few years, big corporates were hit with ransomwares. Ransomwares in an EV, playing with your life, is not exactly something you would feel comfy with. So I would say there is at least 5, 10 years till you can rely somehow on an EV to pick up your kid from school and bring him home safe.
Okay. So, Sebastian, technology standpoint, what are your thoughts?
Talking about when EVs will take over, I personally think that will start from 2025 onwards, because most German car producers will actually shift their production to 100% EV in Central Europe.
Yeah. So on the autonomous driving front, I think that the security aspect of autonomous driving is a solvable problem, and I think the kind of work that you're doing is the right way. I think you're down the path of solving that issue. My concern is much more with the software complexity, and you're talking about even adding more computing power and therefore more software into a system that is already insanely complex. Just as an example, my wife drives a Tesla Model S. She's been driving it now for, I don't know, 8 or 9 years. And this car gets a software update, an over-the-air software update, every few months. And almost without fail, these software updates come with some bugs. For a while there, it would, for no reason, open the charge port door. Later on, the screen in the middle would crash and have to reboot. Later on, some other problem. These are all small, they're annoying, they don't mean very much. But if that software bug was in the software that controls my gas pedal, controls my steering, controls my brakes, then it's a real problem, right? And it's not like Tesla's doing something wrong. It is that we don't know how to make provably correct complex systems.
As I call it all the time, it's pioneering engineering. It's not regular engineers. And I all the time say it, you don't just need a bunch of engineers to sort out this development. Okay, in a regular job, 8 to 10, you do these tasks on a daily basis. Okay, if you're an engineer, you can do those tasks, you can perform those tasks. But when it's about developing, innovating technology, you need an engineer at the same time with capabilities of innovation, flexibility, nothing by the book actually. It's pioneering, research, develop, you fail, you start once more, you make a bug, you laugh of yourself, you repair, and you release the update.
The only trouble is if your mistake and you're laughing is about a car that killed somebody.
Indeed.
This is the difference between a software crash on my iPhone and a software crash in a car. Yeah. This is what scares me. So I think it'll be a while before we really feel comfortable about having most of our cars being autonomous.
Okay. Next question from your experience. What do you think about Momentum's integrated technologies? And do you consider they can speed up the transition from internal combustion engines to electric vehicles? Who would like to take that one first?
Go ahead.
Actually, I'm quite subjective, I would say, because it's a project we developed. I mean, it's our dream coming true. We are aware we're still at the very, very, very beginning of the road. We're aware of that. We're aware we are at the very beginning of the road in terms of long run, in terms of reliability. Okay, it's not enough to build something as a concept, as a technology, as long as you don't have a few years of testing in a real-life model to test the technology and see whether it is reliable on long term, see whether the materials, see whether the software, the computing, building up supply chains nowadays is actually a big issue as well, a big challenge, building up the supply chain. I mean, even in a regular world, like let's think 3 years ago, before the pandemic and before these issues with the politics and so, even at that time it was complicated to build up relationship with the suppliers. And let's take an example. Martin gave it to me last night, and I think that is the best. He said, when I built my first car, I went to a certain supplier, I don't give the name, to ask him, I want to buy a certain component from you, I want you to help me develop a custom component for me, for my EV. And the supplier said, okay, I would, but you're at the very beginning of the stage, and you're about probably to order 500 units of it. So actually, on a larger scale, still, major companies have these issues. Thinking of our project, we barely built one, and we're probably about to build a few more in the next year. But still, it's a matter of, okay, what's my standing point when I go in a negotiation with one of the big players in the automotive industry of manufacturing? Okay, I go there to ask for, I don't know, a new steering wheel. Am I going to buy a series of 1 million of them to get a good price, to get a company who has plenty of experience to engage in R&D for my custom project? Of course not.
Right.
So then either they kick me out or they give me something from the shelf.
Welcome to my world.
So either or indeed. It's
but I think, let me just answer this question a different way, that I think that even as a small-scale project right now, I think that you're focusing on building a platform for proving your blockchain technology for secure communications is a step forward. All right? I think this is significant, and I think that this may become a piece of more connected cars in the future.
exactly. I think our position should be continuous on R&D, engineering, software, and hardware oriented. Okay, applied into the automotive industry, but actually I'm not viewing our company in the next 10 years running a full factory of EVs, for sure not.
Right.
For sure, I still see our company positioned in the future as a supplier of technology, smart technology, whether we're talking about hardware or software, for the autonomous, actually for the electrical vehicles industry.
Got you. And Sebastian, your take on the looking at your presentation and integrated technologies and how they affect what it is you're doing. How do you see integrated technologies speeding up that transition from internal combustion to electric?
Yes, of course. I mean, that's why we're presenting it on the same event, basically, right? Yeah, I mean, our new blockchain technology will definitely skyrocket that development because that's what it's made for. And talking about the security issues that a gentleman mentioned, I mean, that's exactly where our products target, right? The idea is to be able to transfer information from our knowledge network towards devices. And such a device could also be an EV, right? And that's the whole idea about building this ecosystem, in order to be able to transfer that information, and it could, for example, the information of a road, on a secure basis.
Okay, and building on that, last question will be, and this is free for all. Do you think that blockchain technology will truly improve the automotive industry?
For sure I do. For sure I trust blockchain technology can improve plenty of industries. And as my previous colleagues, I think Andrei actually mentioned, blockchain is not about cryptocurrency, even though sometimes it's mistakenly understood. Blockchain is a technology. The application might be financial, might be industrial, might be ledger, database, AI, communication, encryption, or so on. Various industries. Looking at blockchain applicated in the EV, in the vehicles industry, for sure we trust, because I mean, 4 years ago that was our vision. I still trust the vision. I still keep the idea and the direction of our development. Indeed, the problem is the mass penetration of blockchain technology in the world, among the companies, and I mean it corporates. The corporates usually never implement the technology without having proper feedbacks, proper measuring, proper testing, proper engineers, and mature enough technology in the market. And as you probably know, blockchain is not yet a super mature technology. So I expect companies like us, small enterprises from all over the world, would shy and start to develop technology, blockchain-based for the for the vehicles industry. But I don't expect the big players to approach it in the next few years. That's why actually I see a premium in what we do.
Right.
This is always the opportunity for startup companies. Yes. I thought when we started making the Tesla Roadster that we would have maybe a 5-year head start on the big auto companies, and I was wrong. It was at least 10 years. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, gentlemen, Ovidiu, Martin, Sebastian, thank you for sharing your thoughts with the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thanks, guys.
A round of applause for our Q&A.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead, guys. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's come to an end. We just want to thank you for coming out and sharing your time with us today. It's truly been a wonderful event with great guest speakers and CryptoData and momentum, and what can we say? You see what's happening in the present. You got a glimpse of what's going to happen in the future. So with that being said, once again, thank you for coming out, thanking our special guests for being here, and thank the audience. Take care. And come on up and have a peek at the car, take some pictures if you want, just, crowd around. If you didn't get enough photos for Instagram, Facebook, come take some photos. You're invited.